On a distant planet called Zarnath, a group of humans stood at the entrance of a hidden cave. The cave was deep and dark, and strange markings covered its walls. The team of explorers had traveled far to find this place, following old stories from Earth about lost technology. They believed this cave held secrets that could help them fight back against the Galactic Empire. The leader of the group, a strong woman named Captain Mara, took a deep breath. She felt a mix of excitement and fear. "Are you ready?" she asked her team. They all nodded, eager to discover what lay inside. As they entered the cave, their lights flickered, revealing piles of old machines and dusty books. The air smelled like earth and ancient metal. Mara's heart raced. "This is it! This is where our ancestors stored their knowledge," she exclaimed. The team spread out, shining their lights on the walls and exploring the space. They found strange devices and weapons. Some looked like they had not been touched for thousands of years. "Look at this!" shouted Sam, a young engineer, as he held up a sleek silver device. "I think this is a communicator. It might still work." The others gathered around, their faces full of wonder. Mara smiled. "Good job, Sam. Let's see what else we can find." They moved deeper into the cave, discovering more treasures. Old blueprints of ships, designs for advanced weapons, and even maps showing the galaxy as it was before the fall of Earth. Each find filled them with hope. Suddenly, they stumbled upon a large room at the back of the cave. In the center stood a giant metal structure. It looked like a computer, but it was much bigger than any they had ever seen. The screen was dark, but ancient symbols covered the surface. "What is this?" asked Lee, a skilled hacker. Mara approached the giant machine with caution. "This could be a central archive. It might contain all the knowledge we need to fight the Empire." Her voice was steady, but inside she felt nervous. She knew that unlocking this archive could change everything. Sam moved forward, tapping on the controls. "I'll try to power it up," he said. The team watched in silence, their breaths held tight. Sam pressed a few buttons, and slowly the screen flickered to life. Bright colors flashed, revealing images of old battles, lost technologies, and blueprints for powerful ships. The team gasped in awe. "Look!" Lee pointed at the screen. "These are designs for weapons we can use." Excitement filled the room. The humans had spent years fighting with outdated technology. Now they had the chance to upgrade their arsenal with the knowledge of their ancestors. As they studied the screen, Mara noticed a strange symbol that kept appearing. It was a logo they had seen before, one connected to the Galactic Empire. "This might be more than just an archive," she said, her brow furrowing. It could hold secrets about the Empire's weaknesses. The team worked tirelessly, examining the archive's contents. They copied the designs and strategies, eager to prepare for their fight. They spent hours in the cave, sharing ideas and dreams of reclaiming Earth. Finally, as the sun began to set outside, they decided to leave the cave. They stepped out into the cool night air, their minds buzzing with new possibilities. "We have what we need to start our revenge," Mara said, her voice filled with determination. As they walked back to their ship, they knew this was just the beginning. With the knowledge they had uncovered, they felt ready to face the Galactic Empire. They were no longer just survivors. They were warriors ready to reclaim their home. The team was united in purpose, and together they would make their ancestors proud. Back at their base on Zarnath, Captain Mara stood before her team. Excitement filled the air as they gathered around the large table in the command room. The ancient knowledge they had discovered in the cave gave them hope. But Mara knew that to take back Earth, they needed more than just new weapons. They needed allies. "We can't do this alone," she began, looking at each member of her team. "The Galactic Empire is too strong. We need to find other races who will join us in our fight." Her voice was firm, and everyone nodded in agreement. Sam, the young engineer, raised his hand. "What about the Xiphorians? They hate the Empire." "They could help us!" He had been studying the alien races for a long time and knew a lot about their histories. Mara smiled. "Great idea, Sam. The Xiphorians are skilled fighters, but they won't trust us easily. We need to show them we are serious." Lee, the hacker, chimed in. "We can send a message to their leader. If we explain our plan and show our strength, they might agree to meet us." The team quickly got to work. They sent a message to the Xiphorian leader, inviting him to their base for a meeting. They knew the journey would take time, so they prepared for the arrival of their potential allies. Days passed, and the team trained hard. They practiced their fighting skills, improved their technology, and shared stories about Earth and its history. Each story built their bond, making them stronger together. Finally, they received a response from the Xiphorians. "Captain, they accepted our invitation," Sam shouted with excitement as he read the message. "They will arrive in 3 days." Mara felt a rush of adrenaline. "Let's make sure everything is ready for their arrival." "This is our chance!" The team worked around the clock, cleaning the base and preparing a grand welcome for their guests. When the day finally arrived, the humans stood outside their base, waiting. A large ship appeared in the sky, shining bright under the sun. The Xiphorian ship landed with a loud thud, stirring up dust and excitement. As the doors opened, a tall figure stepped out. The Xiphorian leader, Koran, was a striking sight. He had green skin, sharp features, and wore a shimmering cloak that reflected the sunlight. Behind him stood a group of fierce warriors, each ready for battle. "Welcome, Koran," Mara called out, stepping forward with a smile. Koran looked at her with curiosity but said nothing. "We are honored to have you here," Mara continued. "We need your help to fight against the Galactic Empire." Koran studied Mara closely. "Many have asked for our help. Why should we trust you?" Mara took a deep breath. "We have uncovered ancient technology that can change the tide of this war. Together we can reclaim Earth and defeat the Empire. Our ancestors fought hard for freedom, and we will do the same." Her voice was filled with passion. Koran considered her words. The Xiphorians had suffered under the Empire's rule just like humans. After a long pause, he nodded. "I will listen to your plans. But know this, if you fail, we will leave." With Koran's permission, they led him and his warriors into the base. The team showcased the ancient technology and weapons they had found. Koran's warriors watched closely, their expressions a mix of interest and skepticism. As the humans explained their strategy, Koran started to see the potential in this alliance. They talked about their training, their tactics, and how they could work together. The atmosphere began to shift. Hope was growing among both groups. Finally, Koran spoke again. "We will join you, but we expect to see results. If you can prove yourselves in battle, then the Xiphorians will stand by your side." Mara smiled, her heart filled with hope. "We will not let you down, Koran. Together we will fight for freedom." With a newfound alliance, the humans and Xiphorians prepared to train and strategize together. They knew that their combined strength would be essential for the battles ahead. As they worked side by side, their friendship grew, solidifying the bond between their two races. Together, they were ready to face the Galactic Empire. United, they would reclaim their home and fight for the future of all who suffered under tyranny. The sun rose high over the training grounds of the human base on Zarnath. Excitement filled the air as humans and Xiphorians gathered for their first joint training session. Captain Mara stood at the front, ready to lead the new generation of fighters. They knew this was the start of something special. "Listen up!" Mara called out, her voice ringing clear. "Today we will train together. We need to become strong and united if we want to defeat the Galactic Empire." The crowd cheered, their spirits high. Sam, the young engineer, had a new role as the weapons instructor. He looked at the eager faces of the new recruits. "Okay, everyone, let's start with the basics of using our new weapons." He held up a sleek laser rifle. "This is a powerful weapon, but it requires practice. Pair up and let's get started." As the recruits paired up, the training ground filled with laughter and chatter. Young humans and Xiphorians stood side by side, each learning from the other. The Xiphorian warriors, with their sharp reflexes and agile movements, showed the humans how to aim and fire. In turn, the humans taught the Xiphorians about teamwork and strategy, skills they had developed over centuries. In another part of the training ground, Lee, the hacker, was busy teaching tactics to a group of recruits. "Knowledge is power," he said, standing before a large screen that displayed maps of the Empire's territory. "We need to know where the enemy is and how they operate. Let's study their movements together." The recruits listened carefully, taking notes and asking questions. They were eager to learn how to outsmart their enemies. Lai encouraged them to think critically, reminding them that strategy was just as important as strength in battle. Meanwhile, on the other side of the training field, Koran, the Xiphorian leader, was working with his warriors on hand-to-hand combat. His warriors moved swiftly, showing impressive skills. They demonstrated how to use agility and speed to gain the upper hand in a fight. The humans watched in awe, amazed at their strength. After a few hours of training, Mara called everyone together for a break. The recruits gathered around, sweaty and tired but filled with excitement. "You all did a great job today," she praised. but we need to keep pushing ourselves. Remember, we are fighting for our future." During the break, the recruits shared stories about their homes and dreams. They laughed together and forged new friendships, breaking down the barriers between their races. As they connected, they realized they were no longer just fighting for themselves. They were fighting for each other. After the break, it was time for a friendly competition. Mara decided to set up a series of challenges to test their skills. "Let's see how well we work together," she announced. The recruits cheered, ready to prove themselves. The first challenge was an obstacle course. Teams had to navigate through tunnels, climb walls, and dodge obstacles. The humans and Xiphorians worked together, cheering each other on. It was a tough race, but they pushed through with determination. By the end, everyone was laughing, covered in dirt and sweat. Next, they had a mock battle. Teams faced off, practicing their fighting skills while working together. The humans taught the Xiphorians how to use formations, while the Xiphorians showed them how to think on their feet. The battle was intense, but there was no real danger, only friendly competition. As the day came to an end, Mara gathered everyone once more. "You all showed incredible teamwork today. This is just the beginning. Together, we are stronger than ever. We will train hard and prepare for the battles ahead." The recruits cheered, their spirits high. They felt a sense of belonging, united by a common goal. They were ready to fight for their future and protect their home. As the sun set, casting a golden light over the training grounds, the humans and Xiphorians stood side by side, looking out at the horizon. They knew the road ahead would be challenging, but together they would face whatever came their way. They were no longer just fighters. They were a family, united in their mission to reclaim Earth. The training grounds buzzed with energy as the humans and Xiphorians prepared for their next steps. After weeks of training, they were ready to take action against the Galactic Empire. Captain Mara knew they needed more than just strength. They needed information. One evening, Mara gathered her team in the command room. The walls were covered with maps and data from their recent training missions. "We need to gather intelligence about the Empire's movements," she said, her eyes serious. "Lee, you've been studying their systems. What do we know?" Lee, the hacker, leaned forward, pointing to a map on the screen. "We've discovered that the Empire has a supply base nearby. If we can sabotage it, we will disrupt their operations and gain valuable resources for ourselves." The team listened closely. This could be the opportunity they needed. "How can we do this?" Sam asked, looking at Lee. "We need a solid plan." Lee smiled, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "I can hack into their systems and gather more information about the base. We can learn about their defenses and find the best time to strike." Mara nodded. "Good idea, Lee, but we must be careful. If we get caught, it could mean disaster for us." They decided to split into two teams. One team would focus on gathering intelligence, while the other would prepare for the sabotage mission. The recruits felt a rush of adrenaline as they prepared for action. Lee and a few volunteers, including Sam and Karan, set out to gather information. They worked quietly, hiding their ship in a nearby forest. As night fell, they activated the ship's cloaking system, making it invisible to enemy radar. With Lee at the controls, they moved closer to the Empire's supply base. He focused on his computer, accessing the Empire's communication networks. "I'm in," he announced, his fingers flying over the keyboard. "I can see their schedules and security patrols." As he gathered information, Sam and Karan kept watch outside. The sounds of distant engines and footsteps echoed through the air, making their hearts race. They knew they had to be quick. After a tense hour, Lee finally spoke. "I have what we need. The supply base is poorly guarded at night, but they change the guards every hour. We can attack right after the shift change." Karan nodded, his expression serious. "We should move quickly. We can't let them discover us." Meanwhile, back at the base, Mara and the second team were preparing for the sabotage mission. They packed weapons, tools, and supplies, ready to support Lee and the others when they returned. The atmosphere was charged with excitement and nervousness. When Lee's team returned, they shared their findings. "We have a small window of time to strike," Lee explained. "If we act quickly, we can take out their supplies without being caught." Mara took charge. "Let's move!" "We need to be stealthy and smart. Follow my lead." As the team approached the supply base under the cover of darkness, they felt a mix of fear and determination. They crept through the shadows, using the information Lee provided to navigate the perimeter. Once they reached the outer fence, Sam used his tools to cut through. They slipped inside, careful not to make a sound. The base was filled with crates and machinery, all vital to the Empire's operations. "Let's split up," Mara whispered. "Sam and I will disable the main generator. Koran and Lee, you handle the supplies." The teams moved quickly. Mara and Sam made their way to the generator room. Sam worked on disabling the power while Mara stood guard. She listened closely, alert for any sounds of trouble. Meanwhile, Koran and Lee found the supplies. They began to plant explosives in key areas. "We need to make sure this does a lot of damage," Koran said, his voice low but urgent. Just as they finished, an alarm sounded. The team froze, their hearts racing. "We've been spotted!" Lee shouted. "We have to go now!" Mara and Sam rushed back to meet Koran and Lee. They sprinted toward the exit, their adrenaline pumping. As they ran, explosions rocked the base behind them, lighting up the night sky. The chaos masked their escape, allowing them to slip away unnoticed. Back at their ship, the team breathed a sigh of relief. They had done it. They had successfully sabotaged the Empire's supply base, striking a blow against their oppressors. Mara turned to her team, pride shining in her eyes. "We did it!" "This is just the beginning. With this victory, we show the Empire that humanity is back and ready to fight." The team cheered, their spirits lifted. They knew they were on the right path, and together they would reclaim their home. The fires of rebellion had been lit, and they were ready to fan the flames. As the days passed, the atmosphere at the human base on Zarnoth was filled with determination and anticipation. After their successful sabotage mission, Captain Mara and her team were preparing for the most important battle of their lives, the fight to reclaim Earth from the Galactic Empire. Mara stood in the command room, looking at the map spread across the table. They had gathered more intelligence, and now they needed a solid plan. "Listen up, everyone," she said, gathering her team. "We have one chance to take back our home. We need to work together and be ready for anything." Lee, the hacker, was busy analyzing the latest data. "The Empire is focused on their supply chain. They think we are just a nuisance, but we are much more than that. We can hit them where it hurts." Koran, the Zyphorian leader, nodded. "We should attack their main command center. If we take that out, it will disrupt their entire operation." Mara agreed. "Yes! If we can cut off their communication and resources, they will be weakened. But we need to be smart. We have to plan every detail carefully." The team got to work discussing strategies and forming plans. They divided into smaller groups, each taking responsibility for different parts of the mission. Sam and Koran focused on weapons and supplies. They checked their gear, ensuring everything was in top shape. They needed the best equipment for the fight ahead. Meanwhile, Lee worked on hacking into the Empire's systems again. He was determined to gather more information that could give them an edge. He spent long hours at his computer, fingers flying over the keys as he accessed secure files. "I found their patrol schedules and security measures," he announced one evening, excitement in his voice. "This will help us time our attack perfectly." The recruits gathered around to listen. They felt the energy in the room as they learned more about the plan. Lai explained the best times to strike, using the Empire's routines to their advantage. Everyone felt a sense of purpose and hope. As the day of the mission drew closer, the team worked tirelessly to prepare. They trained harder than ever, running drills and practicing their fighting techniques. The bond between the humans and Zyphorians grew stronger. They shared stories, laughter, and encouragement, understanding that they were not just fighting for themselves, but for each other and for their future. On the eve of the battle, Mara gathered everyone in the main hall. The room was filled with the team's energy, but there was also a sense of seriousness. "Tomorrow we will face our greatest challenge," she began. "I want each of you to remember why we are here. We are fighting for our homes, our families, and our right to exist. No matter what happens, we will fight together." The team nodded, their determination shining in their eyes. They felt the weight of the moment, but they also felt ready. They had trained hard and grown together as a team. After the meeting, Mara took a moment to walk around the base. She saw her team preparing, checking weapons, and sharpening skills. Each person was focused and ready, but she could also see the flicker of fear in their eyes. It reminded her that they were all human, feeling the weight of what lay ahead. As night fell, Mara sat outside under the stars. The vastness of the universe stretched before her, and she thought about Earth. It had been too long since humanity had lived in peace on their home planet. She felt a burning desire to return and reclaim what was rightfully theirs. The next morning, the sun rose, casting a warm light over the base. The team gathered one last time, each member looking resolute. They shared a final moment of silence, reflecting on their mission. Then, with a determined nod from Mara, they set out. The ship soared through the skies, carrying them toward their target. As they approached the Empire's command center, adrenaline pumped through their veins. They could see the massive structure looming ahead, guarded and fortified. Mara turned to her team, her voice steady. "This is it. Stay focused and remember the plan. We are strong together. We can do this!" The team cheered, their spirits high. They were ready to fight for their future and reclaim their home. As the ship moved closer, the reality of the battle ahead filled them with courage. They were united, ready to face whatever came their way. In that moment, they were not just a group of warriors, they were a force of hope and determination. They were humanity, and they would rise again.